On In Radio, on Omni Studio, and wherever you get your podcasts, I'm James Cridland, the radio futurologist. In the UK, the curiously named 3 mobile phone network has just announced something called Go Binge. It's a news service that lets you watch Netflix, listen to music, service Deezer and SoundCloud for the moment, but these services won't come out of your monthly data allowance. In Australia, Optus offers zero-rated access to rather more music services like Spotify, Google Play Music and iHeartRadio, and TV like Netflix, ABC iView and Stan. And in the US, T-Mobile, or is it T-Mobile? They offer even more unlimited streaming for YouTube and Netflix and Spotify and iHeartRadio and Pandora and many more services. Now, you might think that this is good news for our industry. If the cost of data is one of those things that puts people off using streaming media, then surely this helps take-up, particularly if services like iHeartRadio are included. It's good news, right? Well, here's why you might want to think twice about this. Competition is a good thing. It normally leads to better things and lower prices for everybody. But where there's no competition, products don't improve and prices go up. Just look at a typical American cable internet connection. Consumers need competition, in other words. This explains the decision a few weeks ago by the European Union to fine Google an astonishing $2.4 billion for fixing its search results in favour of its own shopping comparison search engine. As commentator Benedict Evans wrote in his weekly newsletter, US competition law has become exclusively focused on price. Lower prices for consumers are good, regardless of how they're achieved, and nothing else matters. But EU law also looks at the broader market. It takes the view that squeezing competitors is bad for consumers, even if lower prices result, since innovation and choice also suffers. The World Wide Web has operated on a level playing field ever since it was invented by a Brit, by the way, and Amazon launched in a garage with family members and friends stuffing packages for the mailman, yet access to Amazon's website worked in exactly the same way as access to anyone else's. Zero rating means that the next Amazon, the next Pandora or the next Netflix won't get the same access. In effect, it'll cost consumers more to access small, innovative startups, since they'll inevitably be the ones that aren't zero-rated. The success or failure of a new web service might be driven by a cell phone company's decision on whether to zero-rate it. Now, in radio, of course, we're used to anti-competitive practices from our regulators. Ofcom, ACMA, the CRTC or the FCC keep available broadcast licenses scarce, and in many countries they regulate content, format and competition. Now, these rules can sometimes be helpful to radio companies, but most are continually arguing for more relaxed regulation because it makes running successful businesses easier. So before we celebrate these zero-rated mobile tariffs, we should probably reflect that this makes online radio subject to controls dictated by commercial terms, not government legislation. You can get my weekly newsletter at james.crid.land and daily podcast news at podnews.net. And whatever you're doing this week, stay safe and keep listening.